So today we're going to be talking about volumes, and we're going to start off with section 4, which is volumes of prisms and cylinders. So I have the two formulas here. Volume of a prism is just the area of the base and then times the height. So our area formulas from the last chapter we'll use. And for cylinder, it's the same idea, but area of a circle is always pi squared, so we can be a little more specific. So for volume of a prism, this is a pentagonal prism we have right here, pentagon base. So a pentagon, remember area was 1/2 ANS. Well, we were already given the apothem, it's 3.4. So 1/2 of 3.4. Number of sides is n. Well, it's a pentagon, so there's 5. And then side length, we're told, is 5. So we actually get lucky, we don't have to find anything. So we're just gonna plug this into our calculator. So we have 0.5 or 1/2 times 3.4 times 5 times 5. And we are gonna get 42.5. So our area is 42.5. Now for volume, we take area times height. So that would be 42.5. And then the height, which is what connects the two bases, is 8. So we're going to multiply that. 42.5 times 8, and we get 340. Now, one thing to note about volume. For your units, they are now cubed. So for volume of this pentagonal prism, the volume is 340 millimeters cubed. Okay, so next we're going to find the volume of a cylinder, and this one's a little bit harder, so I wanted to show it to you specifically. For volume of a cylinder, we need pi r squared h. Well, we don't know r, but if we know diameter is 10, then we can easily say, okay, well then that means that the radius is 5 centimeters. So that's an easy fix. But for height, if it is across the middle here, or if it's a slanted, like an oblique cylinder or oblique shape, you have to find the height. Well, what we know is that this makes a right triangle right here. So we have 10 squared plus the height squared, that would be height, equals 16 squared. So 10 squared plus height squared equals 16 squared. Well, 10 squared is 100. And then we do 16 squared, which is 256. Subtract 100 is 156. And then we'll take the square root. And we get 12 let's call it 12.5. And those units are centimeters. Okay, so now we're ready to do our volume. So volume equals pi r squared h. So pi times 5 squared times 12.5. And we're going to put that in our calculator. So pi, I don't know if you can see that, pi times 5 squared times 12.5. And you get 981 let's say 75, because that's a nice and easy round. 981.75. If you want to say 0.7, that would be perfectly fine. It doesn't tell us here specifically. And then units will be centimeters. Again, since it's volume, now we are cubing our units. So the volume of this cylinder will be 981.75 centimeters cubed. Okay, so now we're going to switch gears and just keep going with section 5, which is volumes still, but it's of pyramids and cones. So really the main difference here is a pyramid and a cone, they only have one base. So how the formula changes is it's just 1/3 of each of them instead. So this one's actually pretty easy because we could find the area ourselves, right? It's a hexagon, we know how to do that like the last one, but we already told the area. So volume equals 1/3 area of the base times height. So we're gonna do 1/3, area of the base is 22, is already found. And then the height, that's the straight height, it's not slanted, so that will be 5. So now we'll just type that into our calculator. With 1/3, I'm gonna go ahead and use the fraction button. So 1/3 times 22 times 5. And get 110/3, I'm gonna change it to a decimal form. So it'll be 36.6 repeating. So I'm gonna say 36.7. And my units were centimeters, right? So centimeters, again, volume is cubed. So the volume of this hexagonal pyramid is 36.7 centimeters cubed. Okay, so now for volume of a cone. The volume formula is 1/3 pi r squared h. So we do 1/3 pi r squared. Well, r is 3, so that'll be 3 squared. And the height, well, we're already told the straight height, so it's 7. So now we just go straight to the calculator. So again, I'm going to go ahead and get a fraction. 1/3 times pi times 3 squared times 7. And for volume, we get 65 point, I'm going to do 97. You actually could round this up to 66.0 if you'd like. I'm 65.97, and this is feet cubed. So the volume of our cone is 65.97 feet cubed.